What's up, everyone? This is the NDFX channel here on YouTube. This is my brand new channel here that I talk basically comics, video games, movies, and fun entertainment things. And today we are looking at Watch Mojo's top 10 worst video games. You guys let me know in the comments if you agree with this or not. Let's jump into it and yeah, let's judge this, man. Let's get it.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
It's time to stack up the absolute worst, bottom of the barrel, completely horrendous, sorry excuses for video games.
Oh, they put Superman on here?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst video games of all time.
All time.
Considering there's a lot of terribly made games, we've decided to limit the choices to games that got a physical retail release. That means any mobile games as well as Steam early access games are out. Also, if the game's got a console release, they have to be officially licensed for that system.
Okay.
You got lucky, Action 52. Number 10, Drake of the 99 Dragons.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
We're starting off with a Matrix wannabe with a laundry list of problems, like its hyperactive camera that seems to have a mind of its own and a lock-on mechanic that doesn't lock on, resulting in the main character flailing his arms all over the place. Oh, in terms of story, the game starts with the main character killing himself. Even he didn't want to play.
Fool! Obviously, the undying dragon does not protect him from his stupidity.
Number 9, Pac-Man, the Atari 2600 version.
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man was a huge success in the arcade, and Atari wanted to capitalize on its success.
Man, I can think of a whole lot of stuff worse than Pac-Man. But you know what? Maybe it was just a certain game, but there's a whole bunch of stuff out there worse than Pac-Man, bro. Maybe it's just this particular version of it.
With their home console. So, believing that the name alone would sell the game, Atari actually produced more copies of Pac-Man than there were systems sold at the time. Of course, they also foolishly produced an unfinished prototype of the game, resulting in flickering ghosts and painful sound
Yeah, that looks pretty bad. Yeah, that looks pretty bad.
Number 8, Steel Battalion, Heavy Armor.
One of the worst, though?
Not bad, sir. What was billed as the first serious AAA Kinect title became the poster child of bad motion control games. This was a mech combat game that used both Kinect and the Xbox 360 controller. But since Kinect couldn't read your body properly while you were sitting down, which you'd want to do while using the controller to drive your mech, the game was unresponsive and borderline unplayable. It just goes to show you, not everything is better with Kinect.
God damn. That sucked, huh, Sarge?
Number 7, Aquaman, Battle for Atlantis.
Yeah, this is bad.
If anything, this game should have been titled Aquaman, Battle to Endure Seasickness, because the camera makes most people want to hurl on account of its tilting.
It was bad.
The gameplay consists of...
I remember this game, and it was, you would literally they had an issue with it that people were playing that they were actually throwing up because of the camera angles.
Find enemy, fight them in restrictive dull combat setting, and repeat ad nauseum. And don't even think about exploring, because there are invisible walls everywhere with no indication whatsoever.
Yeah, that was
Number 6, Link, The Faces of Evil, and Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon.
You're not afraid of dragons, are you?
Of course not.
Then get my necklace back from Gliok, okay? Pretty please.
After Nintendo decided to partner with Philips to make a CD console, they also allowed the company to use their licensed characters.
This is definitely the worst Zelda game. This is the worst Zelda game I ever played. No doubt. I know why it's on this list.
But Philips instead decided to make their own console. And with the Zelda license in their hands, they released these two practically identical yet poorly made games. The controls were really stiff, environments were made with no foresight, and of course, there's the hilariously awful cutscenes.
You can't kill me.
Bad or bad?
No.
Number 5, Ride to Hell, Retribution 1%.
Wanna get greasy?
Business before pleasure, sweetheart.
If you were to compare video games to movies, then Ride to Hell would be Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
This girl can do a lot more than just start an engine.
Yeah, this game had a lot of. I remember there was a lot of talk on this video game There's a lot of sexualizing. Like it was like every female character in the actual game was like this overly sexualized character. I do remember the blowback on this. I guess that's why this is on this list.
It's not only bad, with terrible controls, poorly programmed bike riding scenes, and endless QuickTime events, but the story is offensively bad, portraying bikers as emotionless killers and literally every woman in the game as an object for unsexy dry humping.
That's pretty rowdy.
Number 4, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
And this game was trash. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This game was trash, man. It was trash, but there's no game I ever played that was harder than Bayou Billy. And this game right here is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde it's up there with E.T. in my opinion. E.T. was trash too.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Absolute torture is the best way to describe this mess. When playing Jekyll, your main weapon doesn't even work, which is a huge problem in a town where everyone is mercilessly trying to kill you.
Yeah.
When you do become Mr. Hyde, your main weapon doesn't even shoot straight, and the game kills you if you progress too far. Mega fail. Number 3, Big Rigs Over-the-Road Racing.
Yeah, this is bad.
Over the road is right indeed, as you can literally drive through anything and everything in this
PlayStation?
game, because the collision detection herein is literally non-existent.
Or 64.
And depending on which version you have, your opponent might not move at all, or stop before the finish line to declare your winner. By the way, you'll notice that there's no sound bites in this entry. That's because the only thing you hear is...
What was that
Number
about?
2, Superman.
Number 2?
Commonly referred...
Yo, bro, come on, man. They did Superman like this. Number 2? Come on, Watch Mojo, man. That's messed up. I can think of 20 games worse than the Superman. This is Superman 64. That game's not that bad, man. Come on, guys. Seriously. Y'all reaching, man. Y'all some Superman haters on this.
Referred to as Superman 64, mostly because the developers forgot to put the title on the box art. This game is notorious for riveting gameplay like flying through rings, do a challenge, fly.
Yo, how would you like to be the person that forgot to put the title of a video game on a video game box that you're selling to the public and you mass produce them? Yo, that would be crazy, man.
Fly through rings again, do a challenge again. You get the idea. If it wasn't bad enough, the game has an extremely unforgiving time limit and is crawling with bugs and glitches.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Before we get to the bottom of the landfill, let's have a look at some dishonorable mentions.
All right, guys, before we get to this number 1, what do you guys think the worst video game of all time is? I'd have to go with E.T. I don't know what they're going to say on here. There was a couple on here. I don't know if they would be considered the worst of all time, because there's a lot of games that have been really, really bad over the years. But let's get into it. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, that was bad. Really? Sonic in 2006? Maybe. I didn't play Aliens. I didn't play that one.
Number 1, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. If you know your gaming history, this should be no surprise. Programmed in only 6 weeks to make a Christmas deadline, the game's map is filled with holes everywhere, both visible and invisible, and apparently E.T. can levitate when he stretches his neck. This is the worst game of all time because along with Pac-Man 2600, it almost destroyed the video game industry, thanks to high licensing fees and the thousands of unsold copies that ended up in a New Mexico landfill.
X.
There are literally thousands of bad video games out there, so we'd like to hear from you. What was the worst game you ever played, and what made it so bad? And for more shocking top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
All right, guys. What you guys think about that? Did you guys feel like there was some games on there that shouldn't have been on there? Or, you know, the 10 worst of all time, though, but E.T. is definitely, for me, that's the worst game I ever played. You know, and, you know, it's kind of like, Well, that, even though there's so many of them though over the years that have been bad, like some of the early Nintendo games are really, really, really bad. But they also had some bangers on there too, man. Like the Addams Family was a good one, and you know, they had some pretty good ones, man. They had some pretty good ones back then. But you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are these the 10 worst video games of all time? I'm kind of a little bit peeved off at Top Mojo, but putting Superman 64 on there, man. But I did not know that the box didn't have the title on it. That's freaking hilarious. You guys have a blessed day. Take care. You're watching NDFX channel on YouTube. Take care.